Welcome to a spirit animal message. And I'd like to start off by, I use that term spirit animal because so often when we meet a situation, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an animal, but it's like we see a situation that kind of reflects, or we see something that gives us insight on our present moment situation. And I think about how that could be like, I use that term like a spirit animal message, because it's like when you see that spirit animal, that is what, maybe it's like an animal that you most resonate or you've grown up just loving. But think about it, if it wasn't an animal, but it was just self-reflection. So whenever you saw that animal, it's this version of self-reflection. So the spirit animal message is just this term I use as a way to, that's my way of saying that this is this introspection time, or this is, a message that is meant to help you reflect on something that you're dealing with in the present moment. And it's like a spirit animal. You see it and you're just like, what are you trying to tell me? Or, hey, at least it's just bringing you joy, right? And usually getting the right message that helps you along your path will bring you joy, will add value to your life in a way where it may help you, assist you on your path. So let's jump right into this. Giraffe, visionary, rise above earthly matters, glide through life with grace. You are able to see the right path, stand tall in your self-worth, and love with a big heart. So, giraffe has other words, and I just would like to read them off to you that run alongside this energy that it embodies, which is gentleness, grace, beauty, charm, higher perspective, vision, mother's love, intuition. Spirit is reminding everyone we have the power to rise above any challenge with grace. So think about how this long neck, and it's like over the situation. So reminding yourself that anything that you might be facing, that you have the power within you to rise above it. If this animal is an animal that you resonate to, that when you see it, it's definitely this sign like, okay, this is something trying to tell me something, or this is just something that you care about. The totem, natural, visionary, and keen perspective. So it's like on a normal, you're naturally able to see through a situation, and unless it really hits you in a way where it's like, I think of just like all of a sudden everything is just this chaos, and it's a situation, and it's like you gotta just fly up. It's like you can walk out the door, and it's like you put two different shoes on and rush into the situation, because it's that just you don't have much time to think, or maybe it's ruffled your life in a way where it's like you don't even know what to do. Do you go left or right in a situation? Which is just leaving you, who is this natural person, to be able to see through or have this keen perspective. It's like, where is my sight here? Where is my clear sight here? Ladybug, good luck. You are a bright energy. Let worry go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. So, some words I'd like to read off that associate to this animal also. Luck, lifestyle, good omen, joy, delicate, beauty, harmless, faith, change, release, renewal. You might have a lively, colorful personality. Like naturally, that might just be part of something you embody. Bringer of joy. Reminding you to meditate daily to stay in alignment for the luck on your way. So I feel like maybe that's part of this message, is that if there's something that you're moving towards and you would like to have a better luck within the situation, this universe is asking you to meditate. And what I would suggest is going on YouTube or wherever you find, or unless you have a meditation ritual already. However, if you don't, finding one that resonates to you. I would suggest something that would connect to your higher self, so that because you're trying to see through a situation as clearly as possible. So I would do something to do with even the pineal gland meditation. So amplifying your activation of your pineal gland, doing different modalities to just clear that, so that you can just have a good strong, because it's like the voice can kind of send through our emotions, we all have the ability to connect to that voice within ourselves. And I think right now, because of what's going on, the universe is asking you to do that. Clear yourself, rest, meditate. Good goose, inner knowing. You are a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. So I think about how this is like a flock, right? And they take care of each other. So journey, life path, stamina, navigation, knowing, bravery, loyalty, cooperation, communication, making decisions that are best for the entire flock. So that's something that that's like, as the parent or the mother, it doesn't have to be, maybe you're a father who is like the mother, but I mean, this is definitely about children. So it doesn't have to be necessarily a mother, because it does say mother. I just think about how sometimes the father steps into like a mother role. I'm just reading my notes so I don't get it too far ahead of myself. Okay. Oh, like, where did I put those? Okay. So we have the Two of Swords, and then we have and that wasn't upside down, it's meant to be right side up. I just had it sitting here. And the Four of Swords. So possibly right now there's a decision to be made, but you're not really sure what decision to make. And right now the best thing you could do is rest, calm yourself, listen to like binaural beats, which can help harmonize your mind when you're stressed. I would suggest like 528 hertz, which is 528 Hz, if you don't know that, and using headphones and allowing yourself, like, lay down and just, let yourself calibrate to the frequency. Let your mind, because you have different parts of your brain vibrate when you're in your most harmonious state in a certain frequency. 528 hertz is this rainbow frequency that also embodies other frequencies that when you utilize it and you meditate with it, or you rest listening to it, it can help harmonize parts of your brain that may have, that just need some fine tuning. It's like tuning a guitar, right? This is our body. This is an instrument in the sense of, we are these little bits that don't even touch. You think of, what is that? The physics, or how, I just think about how we vibrate, and that if you use these frequencies, it can help just relax the mind and bring it into more of a harmonious space, and release the stress that could be just plaguing you right now, which is keeping you from being able to make a clear decision, and just finding some space from yourself, because it's so sudden of a situation that you're just like, okay, like, it's just, when you're caring about your kids, of course you're gonna just, like, if it's something serious or something you think is serious, of course you're gonna, panic. However, being in that panic mode will keep you from being able to move forward in a clear way, or it will lead to making the wrong decision simply out of fear and not through that clear sight. Which, starting out with this draft, that's something that you hold within your being naturally. It's just when a situation hits you in this way, it may just throw you off in a way where you just do not know what to do. So that's what is the best course of action, so that you're, speaking with yourself. And another thing I would suggest, after you do that meditation, or if you use those binaural beats, I would do like a brain dump afterwards. Like, don't even think about what you're gonna say, just start writing. And I would just write like 5 pages, or set a timer, and then after your meditation or listening, brain dump everything, and whatever comes to mind. If you start writing and you don't know what to say, write down, I don't know what to say. And even after you say that and then you still don't know what to say, write it again. Or write whatever comes to mind, literally whatever comes to mind, and just keep writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and get anything and all things that you could possibly think of out, right? And then just to dump your mind, let out anything that could just be in the way, right? And giving yourself that space to allow your inner self to rise through and connect in that right time, to give you clarity, to give you the perspective you need to move forward, to give you that clear sight. So we have now the 7 of Wands. Okay, so the goal right now, right, is to defend yourself properly, to have confidence asserting yourself towards the challenge. And I need the notes just because, to keep course, and so that the time, because these readings can get quite long. Goal, yes, asserting yourself towards the challenge. One, I think about how look at these wands, how you can't see the people, right? All you see is these wands. So it's like there is this within the goal, within everything else, there's this potential where, a challenge is still, more challenges are still possible. Okay. And I think about, okay, you're dealing with a situation right now, right? And once the situation is handled, there's always, I think about how it's like anything at any time can happen, right? So I think the higher message to this is, for anyone who resonates to this, is don't stop meditating. Like, once the situation is resolved and you're good, I would suggest, I think the universe itself is suggesting that you cultivate a habit with your meditations and make it a part of your daily routine. So any future challenges that may be on the way, and this may be a preparation, right? It's like, the universe might see something like, okay, this is the potential to grab this person's attention so that we can guide them through this situation, and also prepare this person so that any future situation that they may cross through their lives, they are so much more prepared, in a sense where they will actually be able to, confidently, maneuver themselves around anything that, comes their way. Okay. And then now we have the Strength card, which you're overcoming obstacles, which is that it's running right along with everything that's been being said. Embodying the courage, we can endure any obstacles we encounter stronger than. So I think about how any situation we are dealing with, like when we feel weakened about a situation, or we feel like it hits us in a way where it's almost like we got hurt in some way, and it just like slows us down in some way. But remembering that you have the strength within you to get through anything, and think about the right push. Like, say like something happen, like somebody pushes you in a way where they piss you off, versus where you're like in a happy space and you go to do something, or a tired space. Like, say if you're really tired and you meet a situation and that you need to take care of, how much energy do you have? But even tired, let's say you were told, you can't do this. Simply somebody telling you can't do this, even though you're exhausted, will shift you in a way where it's like all of a sudden it's like a magic like somebody pushed a magic button inside you, right? And all of a sudden, you all of a sudden have like 10 times more energy towards something. So remembering that always, 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 you have 10 times more of like whatever you are capable of, what you perceive yourself as capable of in the present moment. Oh, I just dropped that. Remembering you are always 10 times more capable than you perceive. Just sometimes it's about pulling our own strings in the right way, if that makes any sense, so that other people don't have to do it for us. And again, I wrote down, meditate over stuffing down fear. Because if you're stuffing down fear and you're just pushing it down, like, you know what, yes, this is making me afraid, but I'm going to be, that strong person, because we all have to be strong, right? It's just like, we all know that life just keeps on going and we build resilience. But that is on a level, like, it's like a passive aggressive way to deal with life, right? If we do it more intentional and more respectful towards ourselves, because the world will lead us into that trap of just going through any situation that kind of comes our way. And perhaps you're normally this person that is just, very, charismatic, very, loving, and just joy. Like you're a joy bringer. You're a happy, loving person. And, situations that are coming into your life that are causing upheaval, I just feel like I kind of lost my track of thought. So I like to just return to the meditate, and stuffing down your fear is just, it's not healthy. Okay, that helped me. So it's not healthy to do that. And, even if it's just a tiny bit where you're just like pushing it down and you're rising up, and you're just like, once you get a little bit of rest, or you feel like you've had enough rest, you're like, I just got to deal with this situation, and I'm just going to, make whatever decision I feel is of least resistance, which sometimes we just think we know what decision it is, or I don't know. So I just feel like to have the best life that you could possibly have, and so you're not stuffing down that fear and you're actually releasing it, because it's like over time we can create tension in our bodies. If you think about it, like every experience that throws us off, it sort of like sends a signal to our bodies, and it doesn't necessarily, like, once the situation's over and you've moved on, that fear that was pushed into your essence, that was pushed into your energy system, just because you dealt with the situation, it doesn't necessarily mean that the fear that you dealt with isn't somehow calibrated into your little bits, right? So meditating and using frequencies, and I also would like to recommend something else of, these frequencies, the 528 hertz, and you can study frequency, because there's a frequency to every chakra too. And something I do is I do walking meditation to frequencies or to meditations, and I'll close my eyes and I'll use a treadmill, and I'm looking at my treadmill right now, that's why I'm mentioning it, where I will walk to the meditation, closing my eyes, keeping a very slow, steady pace, so that I can get my mind to get into the pattern of the meditation. So it's like a pushed frequency. You think about how when you're listening to a song and you feel it kind of stay with you, right? Especially if you're walking around and you're really like getting into the flow of it, you think about how when musicians create that song, they use a metronome, right? They use something that helps them keep the beat so that they can find the beat and maintain that beat. And musicians, they have this natural, like, internal, like, balance sometimes, especially if they're, really in tune with themselves, and they do have that meditative practice, because meditation is so good for creation. It's so good for creativity, because then you're more in alignment with your higher self, which, the higher self is the all, which we are a reflection of the all, or of God. And what is that? That is creation. It creates, right? God creates. The all creates. All of the things around us is all created, right? And then we are this, a fractal of that. So we are all creators. That is part of our divine essence as creation. So meditating, utilizing these beats and doing it while you're walking in a higher way, it does push the sounds into your system in this special way, is what I've discovered doing this way. And excuse me for not looking at the camera, but it's just so I can stay focused on what I'm trying to say and not look at myself during it, because I want to more think about how I'm talking to who's ever coming to this message, and not so much myself. So doing that meditation while you're walking, it will push out that fear or any energies that might be lingering in your system, and actually pushing it out in a way where you're actually releasing it. I think of myself where I had a situation years ago, and this is what helped me discover this modality, was from my childhood, I had a nightmare that I was seeing while I was awake. And it was because I had gone to therapy. I had a childhood traumatic experience. And through therapy, they had me, roll a rock in my hand, and because I was doing something where they wanted to help me understand why I was doing certain things while I was asleep. So I rolled around a rock in my hand, and I got a memory that I couldn't get rid of. It was like a daydream that would just come into my reality while I was awake, and I would see it, and I would sense all of the senses I had when I was in that moment, and it would just repeat and repeat and repeat. And for years I didn't know how to get rid of it, and it was like one trial and error after another. And what finally ended up happening was I used binaural beats. I used frequency. I walked on a treadmill, and it was a weird situation where just little weird things fell into place. It was basically by accident that I discovered this. And listening to the frequency while I walked with headphones, however the case might have been, it released me from that memory, and I no longer, suffer from dealing with that reoccurring memory over and over again. And it's not even a memory. It wasn't even like I was trying to remember it. It was my mind trying to process it out. And that's what I mean when we face something traumatic. And I think of children, and when they face something traumatic, their minds and their bodies don't know, they're not able to process things like an adult does. Like when they're dealing with something inside, so often a child will, when they're dealing with something emotion, that they'll react, or they will do something that just is out of place, right? Well, I think of like messing their pants, or just behaving in a way that's not them. And it's sometimes it'll be like looked at like there's some sort of disciplinary problem, when actually they're just dealing with something emotionally and mentally in a way where they can't tell you, because they don't understand these adult situations. Like, so often, kids are placed in situations that are for adults, and then when they respond from the inside with doing things that we can't understand, we're just like, what's going on with you? What do I gotta do to, you can't use, people will be like, oh, you can't use this as an excuse. This is inside their system. They can't help this. This is something like it's like when you experience something like fear, intense fear or whatever, that sends a signal to the inside of the body. And it's like when we do something joyous, we just keep that joy. It just feels so free flowing, right? We have that free flowing energy. But when we feel something that's scary or whatever, it's like we get this tension, right? And it's almost like a jolt to our system, and it's sending this, and that energy is being sent, right? We're receiving something that is disharmonious towards our systems. And we are this energy body. We see this physical body, but we are this energy body, whether anyone wants to believe that or not. We are inside of an energy body. And then we have these points within our bodies that we know of, and we know they have vibrations, and we know what frequencies that they best vibrate in. So utilizing frequencies that are of the same, and then calibrating to those frequencies on a regular basis, or clearing your system, clearing your chakras, doing things that on a daily habit space, on a spirit, to create a spiritual base for yourself. Because remembering that no matter what religion that you believe in, or if you don't have a necessary religion that you do believe in, respecting your energy body is something that we all should do, because by doing so, we create harmony within our beings. It will clear away things that you could possibly manifest into your reality simply through being in this more harmonious state, right? It's like through that daily habit, you create momentum, you create a projection, right? And it's then you have this reality where instead of, the world around you projecting your life onto you, you take that power back, and then you're projecting what your life is. And it's not the external, it's you. And you take your power back versus everything else having your power, if that makes any sense. I'm going to move on because it's already getting a little low. King of Cups is the next card. So I would just like to go over this. I'm going to read my notes over here. Recent events recently came into being. Emotional stability, empathy. So much empathy is being sent your way. This could also be this is a masculine energy, taking action. And I think, and this doesn't necessarily have to be like another person taking action. Well, this is recent past events. So maybe feeling strongly, but this could be someone that loves you and loves the children or your child. And there's this masculine energy, and this could be just your masculine side, or this could be an actual masculine in your life. It could be your husband or boyfriend, or it could be someone else. Taking action for themselves and everyone involved that may, I wrote down, that may be you. Requirements to set boundaries and expression of compassion. So there is this requirement to set boundaries, and that's what this is. This person is like maybe coming in to help. So in the recent past, you maybe get coming across a person that gave you insight or is assisting you in some way to help you get those boundaries, and giving you this and it's also giving you this compassion. It's like somebody's trying, there's so much, somebody is just really like, they just have this like empathy, right? They empathize with what you're dealing with, and they're really here for you, is what I'm feeling. Is just that they're working alongside you, or this is you embodying your emotional masculine side. And maybe that's what the meditation is asking, is more of you embodying and tapping into your feminine side. Because I think about how we have this masculine mind and then we have the feminine mind, and sometimes women, because of the world itself, we are in our masculine more so than our feminine, only because we have to be that masculine and feminine at times at the same time. And then so often the masculine takes over, and then it kind of puts the feminine in the back seat, which we need the feminine, because the feminine is our intuition. It's those higher ways that we can see, right? Because we all have this. It's not not just special to one person. It's about creating a daily habit of lifting that weight. It's similar to fitness, right? You lift a weight for your bicep curl, and you do that every single day, that muscle is going to get bigger. Same thing with working on your energy body, or meditating, or working on strengthening your intuition. Doing it daily is going to strengthen that muscle, because it's like an energetic muscle. And I think of the pineal gland itself. You can grow and expand your pineal gland in a way where you're in tune with the universe, getting downloads, able to see through illusions, so that when something happens, you almost immediately instinctively know how this is going to unfold. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is the future influence, inspiration, creativity, a gift or insight. So that is this masculine, or this is possibly you going into your feminine. Because this is the future. This is coming into your future. This message, open to exciting new... there's like little notes, so I'm trying to see where the inspiration was. I wrote little notes to help lead to the inspiration and the insight that I was already feeling. Taking first steps. Okay, this was what it was. Take action when it appears. So this is something that you'll be able to take that necessary action when it appears, being in that aligned version of yourself, because it's the future, right? This card represents the future, it's not the now. So since you're here, and if you're still here, you're listening, and you are getting this information, and you're really receiving, and you put this, you dive deep into yourself, and you work to help process yourself through the situation in a really, cemented way. Or do it right now. Do it tonight before you go to bed. If you can, listen to this frequency while you sleep. That was another thing you can do. You can listen to the frequencies, or you can listen to, these the 528 hertz, and have it playing while you sleep. Because then while you're asleep, you're unconscious, and it's such a long period of time, and you can get videos on YouTube that are hours long. And if you can do it in a way where you can listen to it in headphones, it would work a lot better for you. Just because you want to get this answer, you might maybe crunch for time. I mean, I think about a sudden shift in your reality, and you want to make a decision, and you need rest so you can, get that insight. And sometimes it's about getting the answer. So going to sleep, using frequency, and you can look up I always suggest 528 hertz as a starter, because we have so many different frequencies that help our mind. And the 528 hertz is a rainbow frequency, which it also holds the attributes of these other frequencies. So utilizing that one will help a spectrum of them, versus you trying to use different ones. Okay, so then we have the Ace of Swords. So this is the bright idea, instant insight needed for the swift action. Diving into a conversation will have a better outcome than you think. Trust your intuition to assist guiding you toward the next action. So trust yourself. And when you embody a way of being that continuously sends a signal to yourself that I'm spending time sending, this modality on a day-to-day basis, utilizing this modality on a day-to-day basis, because you are sending that signal to your inner self that you're choosing to trust your inner self, versus, going to the external for so much. I mean, yes, we'll still do that, because you want to, that's another modality, is not just modality, but we are a community, right? We're not just this singular entity. By nature, we are a part of community. Being alone for too long is unhealthy. So still being able to ask for guidance, but being able to trust your own knowing, and say, if you can't quite get the answer through that daily work, you'll resonate. You'll be magnetic towards the right answer. It won't be something that you have to force will upon it. It will naturally and easily unfold for you. And trust your intuition to assist guiding you toward the next action. Okay. So, the environment factors, which is like your internal, no, it's not the internal, it's the people around you, which is the sun. Your family loves you. Remember that with anything you might be dealing with, that you got this sun card, which is hopes. Wait a minute. Clarity, optimism. So finding clarity, that's the environment, the clarity, your inner environment, finding the clarity it needs to move forward, and remembering that the clarity of that you have your loved ones with you, you have your child, remembering the joy in your life. Even if you have to, that everything is going to be okay. Your inner emotions is this a victory, right? You'd want to be victorious in this situation, and you're going to be. You have to tell yourself that this is how this is going to go, because this is the choice that you're making. You're going to make that choice, and be that person that you need, that you would prefer to be, with a balanced, mind of the feminine and masculine mind of yourself, being able to make keen choices or clear sight choices. And I don't mean clear sight as in your two eyes. I mean, if you closed your two eyes and you were looking at it, you would see it clearly, even with your eyes shut, because you would be in resignation of the truth, of the right choice. Your hard work is going to be is rewarded. Praying to be victorious, and you will be. Proud of what you have accomplished. So be proud of the fact that you can accomplish this. The moon. And this is like the results of all of this that's going on right now, which is like relieving you of illusion, and that's moving forward, even beyond the situation, right? Because you've already got your goal, you have this good omen, you have it's like the magician, where all the elements are being placed before you, and now it's time to work that magic, right? The moon, I think about how it is this representation of things hidden, right? So as you move forward in life from this situation, cultivating this new, really strengthening your spiritual practice, and it's just basic meditation. I mean, meditation does not have to be that long, or utilizing those in between moments to bring in those modalities, because there's so many areas of our lives where we could just be nice to ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And you don't have to do it all the time. But there is a level where I think about consistency creates a habit. So this way, it's like even when everything's perfect, you're still doing it, and you don't wait until some upheaval happens, and then you have to, chase your tail of, meditation, which if you're doing it every day, you don't have to worry about chasing your tail. You're in alignment with yourself in a way that you're ready for any situation that may come towards you, which is something I was thinking about at the beginning of the reading of, cultivating this, you're dealing with this, I feel like it's really going to be okay if you truly give yourself that space and rest to get the clear vision that you need. However, there was this highlight throughout the entire reading of cultivating a meditation practice on a day-to-day basis. And I myself do this because of, what the world does to me. I have this side of myself where, I can get just so tense, and it's something that's been built into me since I was a young kid. So every experience that adds to that is just, it's like adding to what's already there. So cultivating a meditation practice for me helps me deal with those impossible people, right? Because there's people that are just, they don't perceive themselves, and they can do things that are just toxic, and I don't know, where they're like taking from your energy, very manipulative energies. And I think about how if we cultivate a meditation, we're not as easily, it's not easy to manipulate someone who has a daily practice of meditation, because they're one day at a time adding to this this bucket within themselves of a pebble that they put in every day to cultivate being in tune with themselves, being able to see through, what is potentially a deception, right? So we have these two other spirit animal messages, which we have butterfly, delight in life and embrace change as the source of your creativity. So I think about the butterfly and the life of a butterfly. It starts as this caterpillar, and then I think about any situation where, say, if it's like an upheaval, or in the beginning it doesn't look like this beautiful butterfly. It's just it's hatched. It's this caterpillar. It's moving slowly. It doesn't have its colors. And then the introspection is that cocoon, right? Because we have to go within ourselves. And I think about this card. Look at this card. She looks like she's like she's in this meditative cocoon, right? And when you emerge from that meditative cocoon, you emerge as this butterfly with what you need to properly pollinate your moment to moment in a way that will actually give you that sustenance, give you that, self-love, or that, that positive energy. And then you're shining it too. You're able to use your words properly. Then we have water buffalo. Face life head on with courage and reclaim the brave spirit within you. So, water buffalo. Face life head on with courage and reclaim the brave spirit within you. I think of the buffalo, and I know this is the water buffalo, but I like to just think about the buffalo itself. And I think about the buffalo, how when a buffalo sees, let's say there's a storm coming, right? Some animals will just run away from the storm, or just run, away from the storm. There's this story I read where the buffalo will run straight through the storm. It will face the storm, and it's like it knows if it just faces it and just keeps running, it will get to the other side of the storm. It's like it faces it by going in this counterintuitive way where it runs straight for it and through it to get to the other side of it, versus like trying to outrun it. So that is a lot to do with life. You can't outrun your situations. You can't outrun problems. However, if you face yourself, which in this metaphor, the storm is inside your body, right? Because you got all these things, stress, when there's an upheaval, there's all these things, right? So it's like, use that inspiration of the buffalo, of turning and facing the storm within you, turning and facing yourself, and maintaining that so that you find yourself in less storms, because maybe you, with that navigator, more able to give you those signals, perhaps helping you in those little in-between ways where you could perhaps make a decision or assist avoiding. And it's not to say you're avoiding a problem, but when you're more in tune, you're also clearer sighted, so you can help your family, your flock, by being that person and being the reflection and helping them, but focusing on you first, but because that's the cementing, because by being it, you reflect it, and when you reflect it, it shines, and it shines in a way where it sends a signal to others, like, wow, you know what, this is working for you, I'm gonna do this too, and see how it can help me. You know what I mean? I have a card here, this flash card. I use these as an advice card sometimes. This is the Queen of Coins. I'm not really going to read what the Queen of Coins is. I'm just going to read what the advice is for the Queen of Coins. Create as much comfort and beauty in your world as you can, and pay attention to the smallest details. So I don't know how that would help, but create as much comfort and beauty in your world as you can, and pay attention to the smallest details. And I don't mean to put that in your brain to just like overlook and over like microscopic everything. Continuing on with the meditation, I know this has been a lot of the conversation, but the small details won't pass by you. Even small details you can't see you won't miss. Queen of Coins. Okay, I guess I am reading this. The Queen of Coins knows that comfortable and beautiful environments help people be their best selves. She is the master of do-it-yourself and turning trash into treasures. If there is joy to be found in making a gourmet meal out of a few eggs and a potato, she will find that joy and serve a wonderful dinner, complete with lovely place settings with her. No matter the project details, will always be taken care of. So this do-it-yourself, and to be yourself, to face yourself, is to be more capable to do it yourself. And let's see, I have this card here, I Do Good, and it's from Living with a Feather Heart, the 42 Ideals of Ma'at in Daily Life. And I'll just let this sit here for a moment and let you look at it. Okay, I'm going to, I have the book. There's just so much insight to these cards that I don't want to ever miss anything simply by thinking I know it all. So I use the book. Okay, so I'm just going to read, and then you can just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And I apologize, but there's some things going on. I got somebody's moving through my house, and we have chihuahuas that if even the slightest thing moves, they are like right there, like barking up a storm. In physics, the conservation of energy means that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Emotional gradients gradually fade in and out of consciousness, depending on what lesson life leads us through and how the mind makes sense of the mysteries of the phenomenal world. Laughter, tears, and orgasm are all ecstatic releases in their own right. And think about that. Laughter, when you're stressed about something, finding something funny to watch. Tears release what is stuck within. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to cry, I'm not a baby or whatever. Crying is a form of release. Crying is healthy. If you're doing it to a lot and out of place, that was a different story. It may mean that there's something that's deep within you that needs to be processed out, and that's when these modalities are so helpful. And orgasm are all ecstatic releases in their own right. Orgasm, when we release that energy, it relieves tension. So having sex or masturbation can help release tension in a way where it's like it releases chemicals in the body that will just release your consciousness from stress. It's that natural happy hormone. Is like the dopamine, I think, but I have to go into that. It's a whole, I have to write notes of what the body releases in that moment. I just know that is a way you can, like, if it's really, when it gets really out of your hands, and maybe that's like if you haven't done that in a while, and then you're dealing with all this other stuff, sometimes doing it yourself is a way to release stress. And it's healthy. So we have a sexual body, and if we ignore it, it can create more tension and more stress facing a situation simply because we ignore that part of ourselves. I'm just gonna go right on. Own right coordinates of consciousness rooted in the heart center. Happiness as the effervescence within the heart space is so special because when life shows us contrast, sense memories remind us that although what comes up must go down, melancholia's monotony, I apologize, I'm not reading this perfectly, can transform if we recall the power of a smile. Autonomy can transform. No, it's monotony. 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 I don't know. Can transform if we recall the power of a smile when things appear to go south. So remembering the power of a smile when things go south. The nebulousness of emotion and how energy is conserved can present a challenge when attempting to do good. In every effort, especially if you are looking to live in alignment with this particular ideal, the nebulous notion of good is often subjective, a construct of culture and imagination, and what truly defines something as the antithesis of bad can be theorized to be the energy behind an action. As energy is something that cannot be created but rather cultivated and transformed. And think about your energy. You are an energy body. You think about that. As energy is something that cannot be created but rather cultivated and transformed. So your energy can always transform. You always can cultivate your energy in a way where you're, balancing your energy, removing anything that's not yours. There's always energy cords I think about. People don't realize that we do get these, when we meet people, sometimes it's like we get sort of attachments of these energetic cords, and doing like a cord cutting meditation to just clear any old cords from the past, from your being. As energy is something that cannot be by embodying heart-based emotions in our actions, reactions, choices, and connections. Good as a primary option is an offering or an articulation of the way of kind deeds, warm words, and a devotion to being the best possible person you can be. The etymology of gospel finds its truest root in the Greek word euangelion, meaning good news. And ancient traditions spoke of the most sacred actions and greatest stories of all time from lip to ear. Good books, which spread good news, allow words to exist in three-dimensional objects, so that the testimonies of history and the accounts of the great mysteries can be studied and observed. Goodness embodied allows for an existence which is history in motion. Emotion expressed in the highest form, energy transformed into a testimony of a life lived in alignment with loving kindness, and a conversation of affection to cause and effect to a world in need. With every deed done, time becomes dented with dignity. Human hearts expand farther away from density, and the light of the earth shines brighter than before. So that was I Do Good. And I see, there is this flow coming out of where this is like the representation of like the throat chakra. And I think about how right now you're going through this situation where you're making a decision to move about something coming that you've been facing or what have you. And how the message is to cultivate some form of modality so that you're able to use your voice in this flow state, so that you can get the best result that you would want. And I pray this helped you. This is a rose quartz sphere. And it's funny how I had set this here, and this is like a good crystal. It's like this. It's like love. It's like a self-love, love for others. I don't have all the information about the rose quartz in front of me, and I'm a little tired, so I'm running out of juice here. So I'm gonna leave it here, and I pray anyone who comes gets something from it, some form of insight. Thank you for watching, and have a beautiful evening or beautiful day, beautiful life.